So I'm sure you're all familiar with Dossier by now. They are a clone house that make more inexpensive versions of more popular designer and niche fragrances. Well, with the fragrance that we're going to be taking a closer look at today, it's called Spicy Vetiver. This is their take on the eau de toilette version of Terre d'Hermes by Hermes. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on this fragrance, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of Spicy Vetiver by Dossier, which is their version of Terre d'Hermes by Hermes, and I tell you all about this fragrance, how close I think it comes to the original, how it smells, what notes are the most prominent, how long it lasts, so on and so forth, I do want to start things off by mentioning that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Make sure to hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I do upload future videos to the channel. And of course, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or if you took something of value from today's episode. Now, the thing that I really like about Dossier is that they have a really good return policy. So if for whatever reason you buy the fragrance, you go through the little sample that they send you and you're not feeling it, you can return it, no questions asked. And they also include these cards on the inside of every box, and it says everything you need to know about the fragrance. They're quite transparent. They tell you what the exact percentage concentration is of the oils in the bottle. This one happens to be 12% concentration, which is on par for most eau de toilette fragrances out there. And it's also considerably more inexpensive when compared to the more expensive designer counterparts. So this one has notes of orange, grapefruit, pink pepper. In the heart, you have black pepper, vetiver, and geranium. And then in the base, you have patchouli, oak moss, and benzoin. Again, this is their version of Terre d'Hermes, the eau de toilette version. I'm excited to give you my thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with the presentation. So of course, right in the opening, the first thing that you're going to notice about it is all of the citrus. It opens up very bright, very citrusy, perfect for the summertime. Like whenever you think of a summertime scent, this is the epitome of it. This is the type of fragrance that works so well in the hotter weather. Just that brilliant effervescence that you're going to get from the grapefruit and the bergamot and all of these other citrusy ingredients. I think it's done exceptionally well. And I think it also is worth mentioning that this is an inexpensive version to Oligarch by PERFUMES. I know that's a fragrance that almost gets spoken about as like a niche version of Terre d'Hermes, and I totally get the comparison. So as soon as I smelled it, I didn't even think of Terre d'Hermes at first. I thought of Oligarch because I've actually been wearing that one a lot more as of late. But sure enough, this does smell a lot like Terre d'Hermes. As soon as you spray it on, it's not going to be clear, right? You're going to get all of the ingredients and you got to give it a chance to settle. After about a minute or so, it starts to form and you do get the life of the fragrance, and the vetiver comes out and it's this very clean, green, grassy, earthy vetiver that's in here as opposed to like a dirty variety of that raw material, which is found in some fragrances, unfortunately. But this one comes across smelling very, very clean. And you also get a little bit of that spicy kick. And so you have the pepper, you have the pink pepper, you have that spicy personality that I think adds a really nice touch to this fragrance. But more than anything else, it's about the citrus and the vetiver. Of course, in the dry down, you also have the patchouli and the benzoin. Benzoin is a medicinal smelling resin that I don't get much of in this fragrance, thankfully, because there's a lot of really bright, like I said, summery ingredients in here, and I wouldn't want them to be compromised by anything that's a little bit too heavy. But the patchouli is definitely in here, and I think the patchouli adds a little bit of that grounding characteristic to the fragrance, but it's also green, so I think it matches the vetiver perfectly, not in terms of the smell but in terms of the vibe. And so you kind of have this patchouli vetiver combination in the base with all of this bright citrus in the opening. And it just smells so nice. I mean, you can compare this to Oligarch by PERFUMES. You can compare it even to Neo by Xerjoff. There's so many wonderful fragrances on the niche realm that I think can be compared to this. But in terms of this being a fragrance similar to Terre d'Hermes, it sure is. It sure is. It reminds me exactly of Terre d'Hermes. If you put 10 of the most popular designer fragrances in front of me and you put Spice Bomb and Amen and and Azzaro's Wanted by Night and Nautica Voyage and whatever, Dior Sauvage, whatever other designer fragrances you put in front of me, and you said, which one does this smell like? I would say, oh, Terre d'Hermes, easily, right? Because it has enough of that personality. It's reverse engineered to a point where it smells so similar to the original. Now, in terms of it being 100% similar, I don't know, probably not. I would have to look at a lab analysis, but my guess is that it's probably like 96% similar, 97% similar. But given the steep decline in price that you're gonna get with this one in comparison to the original, I think that for a lot of people, it's a no-brainer. I'm a teacher, and oftentimes I have students asking me for fragrance recommendations because I do let them know that I like to make YouTube videos from time to time, and you know, a lot of them have even watched my channel. And so they'll ask for fragrances that I would recommend for them. And I can't tell you how many times I had them get a Dossier instead. And there was one student specifically, she loves Santal 33, and I recommended Dossier's version of Santal 33, and she has been wearing it every single day since then. And so this is a great brand for people who are looking for an inexpensive alternative to really expensive designer or niche fragrances. And I think with this being their iteration of Terre d'Hermes, they hit the nail right on the head, and they did a really good job with it. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. Now, first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, not a unique fragrance because it is a clone, but the overall smell is very pleasant. Terre d'Hermes is a mass appealing scent in and of itself, so you're gonna get the same thing with this one. Longevity is about 7 hours. Projection was great for the first 45 minutes of application. It did radiate a little bit beyond an arm's length. It started to sit at about an elbow's length distance, right around hour 3 or 4, and it didn't fully disappear until hour 7. So the performance is really good given the concentration. Versatility, it does lean masculine just because I have so many associations of guys wearing Terre d'Hermes, but perfect for the hotter weather now, especially we're in the month of August. And it's also really good for casual scenarios, but the citrus adds this refined quality in there that allows you to wear it during a formal scenario as well. And in terms of the presentation, I think the presentation is quite minimalist, but I do like the card that's on the inside, and I do like that it's easy to find the fragrance depending on the name, and the name conveys pretty much what you would expect from the fragrance itself. Spicy vetiver, that's exactly what you get. You get pepper and vetiver. So my final verdict on this fragrance is, I think it's a great alternative to Terre d'Hermes. I think the price is right. I think the concentration is tantamount. And if you're looking for a cheaper alternative to Terre d'Hermes, here you have a fragrance that's 90-something% close. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please do consider supporting your channel, supporting my channel by subscribing to it. It's our channel, I suppose. You're watching it too. Make sure to hit that bell icon so you could be notified whenever I do upload these videos. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or I gave you the opportunity to learn about something new today. Thanks again for watching. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.